Very good. Ed, you want to take it away?
All right. I will call whatever month, September 8th, 2021, Guilford Shellfish Commission meeting to order. We will start with item number 1, public forum.
I don't think there's anyone from the public here tonight.
I was just listening to the crickets.
Right.
Okay. Minutes of the August 25th, 2021 meeting.
I got those either yesterday or this morning, and I reviewed them. They seem to be good. I propose that we accept them as submitted.
Peter, I second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Commercial activity and licenses.
I have nothing to report, and I am incredibly remiss in not pulling up commercial billing, and just simply need to do that. So that remains on me.
All right. Well, I'm supposed to help you with that. I've just been
I know, don't worry, Ed.
little preoccupied.
It's I take as much of that responsibility. It's just been a little crazy here as well. I know that we have some of our commercial licensees wishing to pay us, and so I'm going to try to get on that.
And I know we already made a motion and approved it earlier this year. I'm not sure the exact meeting. I have to look it up. That any renewal or any license that's come up for renewal, we would do an auto renewal on it this year. So none of the commercial people have to be worried we're going to pull the rug out from under them or anything like that.
Yep.
Just
That's good.
our act together and having a minute to breathe.
Yep.
Yeah, no, nobody's in jeopardy because of the administrative problems that we're having. So
And I know it's not just that. I know one of them I did speak to, I believe, end of July. They actually need to have the renewal in place so they can prove to an insurance company how many actual acres they have, so they can actually insure their crop, which is one of the reasons they were on that. So I don't know if they've worked around that or what, but that, at least that one, Peter, you and I can talk about it, getting that one done or whatever.
Sounds good.
Okay. So with that, we'll move to bills and correspondence.
I only have 2 bills for the month. Judy Castellano, $73. Secretarial Services, and Fred Hill, warden fees, August, $80. So $153 for the month.
Okay.
I think I sent you 2 invoices. Is that right? I hope so. For July and August, because you didn't vote on it in July. Did you see that? I sent
There were 3 documents attached to that. I know that.
Yeah, 2 were invoices and 1 were the minutes, just so you know.
Oh, okay.
And the July, let's
Okay,
see.
yeah, I see it here. So this is August, 6388.
Right.
Thank you. So I'll add 6388 to that. So that's 153, 216 and 88 of total fees, billable.
There was nothing from Alan.
He sent me Warden's report, but no bill.
Okay.
I will follow up with him. What I'm trying not to do is submit expenses or licenses without having the data, because I found myself a few months ago not able to reconcile, and so I've just got to keep. I can only really report what I have.
Fair enough. And understandable.
Yeah.
Okay. Correspondence.
Correspondence. I stopped by the town hall today, and there was a bunch of junk mail addressed to the, like West Marine flyers and things like that, but nothing of substance.
Thank you.
Okay.
If we need to approve the payables.
Oh.
$16.80.
I make a motion to accept the bills as submitted, $216.88.
It's Peter, already second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, correspondence. I know Don Kowalski has shown, he called and left a message about rejoining the commission. He had the time, and if we wanted him, he'd go through the process, going through the Republicans. I also received a general inquiry from another possible Republican, Kurt. Judy, I'll have to get you his last name. It's on the refrigerator. I can't even think. It's another person, Kurt. I can't think of his last name. I've known him forever. So we'd have to kind of maybe vet those two people if it's a Republican seat that's open. If we're looking for candidates, there are two possible. And there's also that third that I was waiting to find out if paying property taxes in the town would qualify somebody to be on the commission. I believe we were waiting for town council to submit their opinion on that item to Mr. Hoey to let us know. So and that would be actually, I believe, a Democrat or independent. Well, actually, it wouldn't be because they don't vote. They're not a registered voter on that third one. But they're checking to see if a Guilford resident who is not a U.S. citizen and pays property taxes is eligible to be on a commission. So we're trying.
Yeah, I'm surprised that it's taken this long to get a response from them.
Yep, I will put it down to follow up. I'll send an email out to Mr. Hoey tomorrow.
Okay.
Thank you.
Another correspondence, Chris Walston, I believe, reached out to Bob Berger and I, possibly Peter, some combination of John Hall. So maybe in that mix that now that clamming's closed, he can't sell commercially and he still wants income coming in. So he can sell us clams off his closed beds to put on our closed beds, which provides us stockable clams. I believe Bob can talk more on that, how many he might have and dates, or Peter can. I know Peter stopped by. Or if we can wait, we can do that on stocking.
Yeah, why don't we do that at stocking? Because there's a larger conversation. We've got funding already agreed and allocated. We've got plenty more available. We've been selling lots of licenses, so we probably want to have a more detailed conversation. Be sure we get our stocking up to speed.
Okay, I just want to make sure we had it noted on that correspondence that he reached out.
Okay.
Other correspondence has been extremely quiet. I find if you don't have a cell phone that works, you don't get reached very often. So we will move on. Does anybody else have any correspondence?
No.
Okay. We will move on to the Wardens Reports.
Alan Brown had submitted reports just in summation in a number of cases where, clammers had oysters that were not culled. There was one instance where the beds were closed and there were clammers that Warden Brown had them put the clams back and not take them. So nothing really extraordinary.
Okay.
There were some written reports submitted by Fred Hill as well, which were very routine.
Yep,
Nope.
thank you for that.
All right. Subcommittees. Recreation.
Recreation, we continue at least for July and August from Captain Morgan's. We continue to see pretty good sales. July sales from Captain Morgan's were $1,548, 14 annual non-res, 6 annual non-res senior, 6 annual res, 8 annual res senior. And then for August, because I picked up both months today, sales of $2,774, 28 annual non-res, 9 annual non-res senior, 8 annual res, 2 annual res senior. So I've not totaled that, but
Those probably actually go back to like maybe April, May, or May and June. Doesn't he lag like 2 months and what's the actual date of the sales?
it may be, but prior months, we're just going by memory. We've had robust sales from Captain Morgan's and other outlets. I did not get over to Town Hall today, but Town Hall's been reporting great sales. I also have not received a financial statement, which I need to probably get on our finance department to furnish before our meetings, but our revenue on recreation has been, I think, probably as high as I remember.
Okay. Before the last meeting, I know the July meeting, John Hall hadn't gotten over to D's. John, had you gotten over to D's for August, now September?
I got, Ed, I can't remember. I got there, I think, at the end of July, and I provided Peter with the money sometime last month. It was like $1,600 or something like that.
Okay. All
But
right.
I haven't gotten there for August, no. And I didn't expect there to be a lot, but I'll get down there.
Okay.
Before.
I was just curious because I wasn't at the last meeting.
Yeah, I had it, and I gave Peter the number, and then I brought it to him like a week or two later for him to bring to Town Hall.
All right.
It was like, I think it was like 1,600 and change.
All right.
I got 1589, I think it was. I'm looking at it from last month.
Yeah, I'm sorry, it was. And then I had more. I had another, I think 300 or 400 from the fishing factory.
All right. That's good.
That might be the 880.
I don't think it was that much from the fishing factory.
Yeah, that's because that's when you deliver these, please note where they come from, because I didn't have that information for the last meeting.
I said it on like the whatever on the record or during the meeting, I think for July, which was late, because I don't think we had a quorum the second.
Okay. So those are recreation still going good. It'll be nice to get some clams stocked in there. I know myself, I haven't gone clamming in a while or anything, but last time I went to Shell Beach. I found there to be an abundance of clams, size-wise, not what most people are looking for, not all little necks, but I mean, there were clams. I could have had 3 limits in an hour of clams over there. And now it wasn't an official correspondence. I was making small talk with somebody on a charter who was a Leech Island resident, and he had heard it. This is before he knew I was on the commission or chairman. He said, "Oh, I heard they're not stocking Shell Beach anymore." And I said, "That's interesting. Who'd you hear that from?" "Oh, I don't know. And then I said, "Well, that's completely not true," and told him, that was actually chairman and stuff. So he was happy to hear that, but he had heard opposite of that. So,
Ed, were you finding them? You know, tell me the exact spot. Were you finding there was a lot of silting and the issues caused by that tide gate, or was it pretty sandy? What or were you getting them out of the moorings?
it was in the mud. The less muscle you use, the better. It dragged the rake literally like It's cutting through mayonnaise. It's not cutting through sand or anything hard. And I was actually doing it one-handed. It was the easiest way. Like just put the rake out as far as I could and just pull it towards me. And they were right up in that top soft mud. I mean, they were, I would say, large cherry stone size. Cherry stone to large, but it would be nothing to get 8 or 9 in a coop doing that.
Wow.
There were a lot of dead ones, and I think there was 18 big snails I took out of there, or conch. So that's definitely a predation problem happening in there.
Yep.
But I did take them out, and you know, there are clams there. Some of it's technique, and so I know there's 2 guys that go there with, they call them mulching pitchforks. It's like a pitchfork with maybe 18 tines on it. And those 2 guys, gentlemen, are notorious for always having their limits of little necks out of there. And it sounds like they're just using those just to go through that soft mud and find them. It's almost the less effort you put in, the more you find over there, it seems. So that's all I had on recreation. Water sampling.
Water sampling, we are current up through August, and then with the heavy rains associated with the 2 hurricanes, we've been closed for almost, well, probably 10 days, almost 11 days now. I was hoping to try and get a September open sample in, but we actually got closed by the first hurricane, like one of the last days of August, so we couldn't get that done. But I spoke to Alyssa today. We, in terms of trying to do the timing of water samples in relation to the stocking, we've got to kind of pay attention to, how we do things. So more to come on that. It'll probably be another, well, depending on what weather we get tonight, it'll probably be another week before we're open again.
Okay. And I was kind of wondering if, I know you had mentioned maybe meat samples, and they asked for them last time, but then all of a sudden they just reopened us. So
Right.
If we don't get, another qualifying rain event tonight, I don't know if that might just happen again in 3 days, or.
Yeah, we sort of left it open with my conversation with her in terms of how we were going to go forward. I think because with the stocking that we want to do is going from a closed area into a closed area, they want to sample the clams from wherever we put them, regardless of what our current water samples are. They're going to want to just sample those clams because they're coming from a closed area.
Okay. And they should have water sampling of that area, because that's part of their.
Right. I'm sure they'll probably get that too, but that area remains closed at this time as well.
All right. And that's actually providing us the clams, so Chris can still get revenue while he's closed. Okay. Anything else on that? We'll go to the boat. She was
Hey, everybody, I don't know how to respond here. I have a bit of an emergency at home.
Oh.
If I drop off, can this meeting continue?
1, 2, 3, probably not. We only have 3 after, because John Saviak isn't.
You can continue as long as you don't vote. In other words, as long as you don't vote and make actual decisions, you can continue just giving information to each other.
How do we end the meeting?
well, I'm just looking if there's anything we would need to vote on.
You can't make motions. So we just end the meeting without a motion, but that's up to you.
Well, let me just step aside and continue without me. I'll leave the meeting active and I'll try to come back.
We'll do it informationally without voting. And if Peter can rejoin and we need a vote, we'll do it that way.
Thank you.
Okay. I hope everything's okay, Peter. So the boat, it was nice and high and dry for the hurricane.
Yeah, we went down and kind of reinforced some of the lines during the storms, and the boat's been fine. we still have the same issue with the throttle not being adjusted very well. I have not gotten in touch with Paul Nelson about that since the last meeting, but it's an ongoing issue, and we're just going to have to stay on it to our satisfaction.
And I think it was John that replaced the winch on the front of the trailer. Thank
Oh,
him
yeah,
for
that's-
that.
Yeah, I got the light kit for it too. I just got to get around to doing it. It's in my garage.
I weed whacked that whole area and cleaned it all up where all my trailer storage yard.
Yeah,
stop-
I have not been in touch with Paul since our last meeting, and I gotta talk to him. And I'm thinking if he really needs to put time into it, we could probably do it this winter when he winterizes it with the expectation that it get fixed. That pedestal shifter. I mean, I'm assuming that's under warranty. If the issue, I don't know if the issue is the adjustment or if there's like a faulty part with it.
Okay.
It's definitely not right. It doesn't engage in reverse until you go past neutral. It doesn't. There's it goes past the positive stop for neutral, and then it doesn't actually click in until you're like 3/4 of the way down, and then it really it catches and it really wants to go.
What about the option of having another Yamaha dealer look at it, like Boats Inc. If I knew somebody there that.
I mean, for what you shouldn't get it.
Paul has looked at it a couple times.
I hear you, Ed. For me, it's a matter of principle. I mean, it was quite a bit of money. I mean, what was it, $11,000 for a 115 horsepower motor? It shouldn't have these problems.
I agree, but it's also going on almost 2 years, and I know he has looked at it a few times, and at some point it's going to be a safety thing coming into that slip like that. So,
Sure.
I might be able to call in favor on having somebody just kind of high level look at it.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have any. As long as they're Yamaha certified, it's we
Yeah,
don't.
it's Boats.
Jeez.
It was one of the people that was primary or principal owner at Boats Inc. before they got bought out by a big corporation. So
Okay.
he's still there. And he owes me a favor, so see if I can call it in.
Okay.
All right. So back to our list, stocking.
Stocking. This is the Chris Walston conversation. He contacted me about a week ago saying that with the heavy rains, he was going to be closed, and his only way to sort of kind of continue selling clams was to sell them to us, because he could sell them from a closed area into our similarly closed area. And he was not exactly sure how many bags of clams he had or exactly when we could do it. I did file a permit with the BOA Sunday night or Monday. And so that's in place. And speaking to Alyssa today, that's, the permit is although she hadn't seen it in her office already, she said that, the permit should be, mostly a formality. And then we just got to get together with Chris to find out when and how much we're going to do. He sent me a voicemail today saying that possibly over the weekend, Sunday or Monday, just looking at the weather and the tides might be the best time to do it.
All right. Saturday, I'm busy until noontime. Sunday, as of now, I'm open. But with weather, it looks like we're getting probably some of my trips canceled with work between tomorrow and Friday. And you may retry and schedule them on Sunday. So, but as of now, it's open.
Okay. I'm working all weekend myself, so I'm not available. It would have to be Monday or Tuesday next week.
Okay. That's if, unless we had other people. I mean, I could probably get some help if needed or whatever.
Yeah.
Did any stocking ever happen from Patty?
No.
Okay.
So I think this is the part where Peter was talking about earlier, that we had sort of allocated money earlier in the year to go do stocking, thinking it would go to oysters from
Yes.
Dolan. But we had sort of approved up to $6,000. And I think this might have even been from last financial year that we were just going to carry over this year. So we have $6,000 at our disposal that we can use towards this stocking effort.
Okay. Yeah, I know at one time John might have talked to Patty, and it sounded like there was 20 bags available, which was not very many, to be honest. Like, I know Steve Schaefer said he would have some, but still, I don't think the numbers we were looking for. There's,
Right. I don't remember an amount.
Yep. So there's, I believe it's Indian River Oyster over in Clinton. It's by George Harris, is an owner. He does a lot with cages and stuff, but maybe if he had bottom run or a surplus, I could check with him. Also is another avenue.
Yep.
Possibly.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's-
can't approve anything here tonight because
Right.
of the participation, but if you want to speak to him and just get the information, that'd be great.
Right. Because we do have the money allocated for it, so it's
Right.
I
Yeah.
will-
Yeah. I mean, it's
this
of
kind
all
of
the things we plenty of participation, lots of interest, lots of income, and we really have a responsibility to maintain the quality of the program that we have.
there was actually, and this kind of goes back to recreation a little bit, but I'll do it under stocking also. Shell Beach actually has a very nice set of natural oysters, which are coming into legal size. They look like they're 2.5-year-old oysters.
Okay.
A bunch of them are legal right now. A bunch of them are that 2.5-inch range. And it's a natural set that's in there. And they're actually beautiful oysters that are occurring over there. I was actually pleasantly,
great.
I was surprised at how many there were, to be honest. So, so stocking we're going to do. Finance, we don't have Peter.
I'm back.
Oh.
I have nothing to report. I do not have a statement from Finance Department for this month.
Okay. Everything okay, Peter?
Yeah, we just have a little incident going on. We're under control for the time being. Thank you.
Okay. 911 if needed.
Got it. I got Bob on the line here. I'm good.
Okay. Special projects.
Nothing that I know of to report at this time.
Okay. Signs. Last I heard on any signs, I think they were all flipped. Bob and I went over and reset one up at Shell Beach out on the Rocky Point at some point, like 2 months ago, maybe at this point. But that's all I would have on signs. Website.
Nothing to report. We continue to get new views and likes on our Facebook page. Just a reminder for any of us that have content to post, please do.
Okay. Is that something we want to go out onto the Instagram with also or something, or? At this point?
Yeah, we could, but with Instagram more specifically, you've got to be posting content that, whereas the page has persistence, the content stays there.
Okay. Yeah, I forget if there's posts versus updates.
Yeah.
Not completely sure on the IG. I'm kind of the OG of the IG. Okay. Updates, land acquisition.
John Saviak is not here tonight, so we do not have any updates.
All right. Did you ever hear back from that real estate agent?
I did not. I made
Okay.
3 phone calls and never heard back. So I'm going to assume that that is a dead issue.
Okay, well, thank you for at least trying, because you never know on something like that. Sea grant,
Again, John Seviak has been the primary contact person. I get a sporadic mail from them, but nothing new from them from what I can tell.
harbor management,
Pretty quiet on harbor management. Nothing really to report.
was the Tide Gate email from harbor management, or is that?
Yeah, it was from Fred Brisbaugh. It was sort of informational. I didn't have any takeaway that there was any action from harbor management on that at
I
this
didn't
moment.
actually, I just kind of saw the subject of the email. I didn't know
Yeah.
what was the content of it. Just do you,
I'd have to pull it back up, to be honest. I shared it out as just informational only. I don't know that there was any action.
okay. Because I'll say north of the Tide Gate is a commercial bed. So that's under, I think it's a joint lease, Chris Walston and Bud Harris. But they're pretty open on that, but we might have to get their input, if anything, on
Yeah,
that.
I'm guessing procedurally, we would receive a formal notice of any material change. I think this
Okay.
sluice gate thing has been out there for a very, very long time. It's kind of getting dusted off again, but there's nothing imminent that I'm aware of
Okay.
back on.
I said, I just saw the subject of the email.
Yeah.
I haven't dwelled into anything. I don't even know which way is up kind of in life, but docks, moorings, other potentially impacting projects. John's not here. I have not heard of anything or seen anything come through. Okay, which will bring us to old business. Review shellfish management plan. We're still waiting on the state. Bob, if you're reaching out to Alyssa with some of the sampling stuff, this might be a good time to kind of prod again about a higher closure rate, 1.5 or 2-inch closure on our other areas besides Shell Beach. Or I can send an
Okay.
email out also.
I mean, I don't know what it's going to take to kind of get them to move on it, but yeah, I will certainly mention it again.
Yeah, and I think you were on one of the emails and she said, just keep reminding me.
Yeah, probably.
Up until August, I had been, and then August went, I don't know where August went to. Okay. So assignment of duties and individual commission members. This is one I'm gonna kind of jump in on, is old business. My life's been turned upside down. It's might have some semblance of normalcy coming back, but I don't have the time that I feel I have to commit to be the chairman. And I'm proposing, as of the October meeting, if nothing's changed, stepping down as chairman, but I'd like to remain on the commission. And I think at that meeting, we could have a vote of who the commission would want as a new chairman. But I just wanted to make that aware out to the public that, you know, I don't have the time to commit, and, you know, I just have too much stuff going on and whatnot. You know, my schedule changed and then life blew up also. So I don't think it's fair to the commission to be an empty, even commission member versus even a chairman at this point. So that's kind of my thought going towards the October meeting. I just want everybody to be aware of that.
And could I comment? I just,
Sure.
First of all, the desired state is you stay enrolled, but certainly priorities are family and life, so that's understandable. But you don't need to make that decision right now. The thing we want to ensure, though, the 2 vacancies, to the extent that we can fill them with competent, experienced people. If Don being one of them, who's got the background, would be great. If there's another come in, we make that happen sooner rather than later. gives you probably and us together the flexibility for whatever direction you feel you need to take that's in your best interest. So
Okay.
just
I
really-
mean, I'd
we
like
like-
to stay on the commission. I just,
yeah,
I'm not sure who all knows exactly what happened in August, but I didn't have any time and life got turned upside down, so.
Yep.
I just want to make people aware of where I'm at on that, on my viewpoint on that, and where I'm kind of standing that, I'll make sure I'm a valuable chairman and all that versus just an empty a go seat kind of thing. So with that, we will move to new business, which A should have been moved to old business. That's something we still have to meet on. And again, I just haven't had time to work on any of that, of the RFP process and how we move forward with this 3D co-application, dual application process with Kelp Growers Anonymous kind of thing.
Yeah, I haven't heard a peep out of them for several months, so I guess they're proceeding on their own.
Right. Is some of them are going in like gangbusters and have not heard another word, voicemail, text, email from them since.
right, to my recollection, we've only provided comment on one, which was the Gordon request, which
Right.
ultimately followed the process with the state that requests the local Shellfish Commission to provide comment, but we don't have a decision. We're not a decision-making authority on that. And our comments were that we saw no real issues or conflict. I'm not
Right.
aware of any others that we've been formally requested to comment on, so I'm assuming that's the only one granted or conceivably granted with permission to proceed.
Right. But the state had asked us also to work with Groton and Noah and kind of look at the different scenarios and how other towns are handling this. And
But to our knowledge, we only know of one kelp farming request that came through the process that we commented on.
right.
Yeah.
So I do have the information, I think, in email how the other towns handle it. And
Yep.
I think the target was to have something maybe to share at the next meeting of the vibes or meeting of the commissioners in January, February, to kind of put it all together. This is how the towns that are seeing the kelp applications, and this is how they're handling it.
That would be the best place to sort of address this, I think.
Right. And that way we can, basically the state was asking us to come up with a best practice, a best policy procedure.
I don't understand why that falls on us, though. I struggle to understand that. If they're not gonna be in actual, I guess, leased areas of ours, and they're just going to be in an adjacent lot from the state, I don't know why.
So there's some stuff, different towns handle it differently. They're doing like co-management, some of it, but it comes into ground rights versus water rights. So the state right now, if you give them $25, they'll give you water rights. Well, those water rights go over a potential piece of ground that Guilford has the jurisdiction over, which next week somebody could come over where Mike Gordon, actually he went in on the state, but if somebody was over the town jurisdiction with that, they could come in the next week and apply for shellfishing, and we wouldn't be able to issue it because there's a kelp farm on top of it and they would not have access to those grounds. So it comes into water rights versus ground rights and what trumps what. And it's the elephant in the room that nobody wants to discuss. And I was kind of making an issue out of it. So the state said, fine, figure out how to do it. It's one of those where it's easier to keep your mouth shut. Because I saw it as a potential problem somewhere, and instead of waiting for being reactive, instead I was trying to be proactive instead of reactive. It created this new work group.
Yeah, but to to John's point, I mean, this is something that the state should be taking responsibility for. This is not, individual commissions
I agree.
have to decide, and the state should be taking the lead on this.
Right. And I think that what the state is asking is what's the best way for towns to adopt it so the state can adopt the policy that's best for the towns.
Oh, right.
I think it's the other.
That's gonna have to be a cooperative thing. That should not be a,
Yes,
he
I know.
said, she said.
I just don't understand why the state can't develop or the Board of Aquaculture can't develop a program for it with areas that aren't so inland that or towns that don't have shellfish commissions. I don't understand why it's like Guilford, Satcham's Head, everybody wants to be in there. It's just near a yacht club where there's a million boats. It just doesn't make sense to me. That's all.
There's a lot that doesn't make sense. Shannon at the state is very proactive on trying to guide potential kelp farmers, but then there's commercial interests that are educating potential new kelp farmers and saying, come close to us, we'll help you for the first 2 years, and we sell us your product and we'll sell you the seed for the kelp next year. And so there's a kind of a commercial backing on some of these initiatives that are going on that are turning into, like, they're hearing about it from a commercial side of another processor, I'll say kelp processor. And, that's why Guilford's getting a lot of it, is they're in Brantford next to us. So I think they had a seminar at the rec center that might have had to get moved to a church last year. And they were specifically designing it towards women getting into aquaculture. And I think they had like 150 participants there. So that's where some of it is. There's a commercial side to it, and it's question. There's so many avenues, is kelp farming economically feasible in Connecticut with high taxes, because how much the facility you need to process it, how many months out of the year you're going to run it, 3 months when you actually have harvestable product, 2 months, you have property expenses like taxes and stuff. So is it even feasible to do it in Connecticut and stuff? And nobody knows. And I believe Sea Grant's doing an economic study on that. And there's other studies with professors that are saying, okay, instead of making kelp pickles, now we have a emulsified kelp fertilizer. So they're looking at different avenues, and when you throw in grants and other revenue streams, there's money. When there's money, people try and get it. Is basically what it comes to. So, sorry to rant on that. So, any other new business? Okay, item 10.
Item 10, adjournment.
Propose we adjourn the meeting.
John Hall,
second.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Good.
Bye.
All right,
Thank you,
everybody.
everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Peter, I hope everything works out.